Hello. I think it's just the two of us right now. It was hitching, and when I hit enter, I didn't realize the Y wasn't there. So later on, I'm going to have some of you help me with these camera settings. I'm using my phone now. So, hi, everybody. There'll be people on the replay. So I decided to start using my phone as the camera because I had looked at my live streams and they didn't look that great. But I got on today and I looked so washed out. It's weird. So we'll play with some settings in a little while. So I don't know how many people's going to be here because it wasn't pre-planned, and I know a lot of people are doing stuff in the evening time. But just to tell, because you're interested in my protesting, so I've had a really bad tooth problem since last week, and Friday, so I was in pain. Yeah, so I had the back top one extracted. It had been cracked for a long time, but never hurt. A piece of my filling from when I was 17, so 30 plus something, almost 40 years old, had fallen out, and the tooth had cracked. So that didn't hurt. Then last week, though, this back one, oh my gosh, it was horrible pain. Last week, maybe the week. Okay. Now that's the only other issue I have doing it with the phone. I wanted to hardwire it so I didn't have that problem that just happened, but I couldn't figure it out. So we're doing, the phone goes through the Wi-Fi network and then into the computer, which might cause hesitation. So let me know if there's any problems with that. I'll just go back to the laptop camera. So they put me on antibiotics, and the antibiotics will be over tomorrow. No, what's today? Wednesday or Thursday? If it's Thursday, then tomorrow. See, I've lost track of time. Mainly because my husband's had to work his weekend. Long story. It's not. I almost said something to the dentist because it was amoxicillin, and I had become resistant to amoxicillin many years ago because I still have my tonsils, and I had chronic sinus and tonsil infections, and they always put me on amoxicillin, and I became resistant. Well, it's been many years, and I said, well, we'll try it. Well, I'm calling the dentist tomorrow, and I'm going to tell him I need something stronger because I've done the whole week of antibiotics. See, I'm hesitating. Whole week, and I'm still having sinus, and it's down here in my gland. If the tooth pain is kind of better, and I was going to go to Austin once the tooth pain was better, but because it moved down into here, this is all pretty painful. So that's why. First world problems is what I call them. So then I've never had a root canal. So I'm supposed to have one next week and then get a crown. And I'm going to tell you, I'm very good at taking care of my teeth, but my husband is not. And I asked the dentist when all of this came to light a couple years ago and we started having all these dental issues. I said, can somebody give you periodontal disease? And they're like, yeah. And I just gave my husband a dirty look. I'm not happy. So I went to a new dentist because we were going to Aspen Dental, which is like a chain. They were just horrendously expensive. I went to this dentist and I was amazed at how less expensive they were. And we can go anywhere, they'll take our insurance, so no big deal. So that's why I haven't been protesting. I hope I don't lose too many people because I have noticed whenever there's a gap in my protesting, I lose a handful or two of subscribers. So that's another reason why I try to update on my community page, just to let people know that, I don't just disappear, and they know why. How does the camera look? Because I'm seeing hesitation and blurriness when I'm moving in my view. And it might be because of the having to go around through the Wi-Fi. I'm trying to get, I may just order a webcam. Then again, I'm getting a new computer as soon as before the end of the year, because I found out this won't support Windows 11, or they're going to stop supporting Windows 10. I can't upgrade. And I was like, oh, I'm so sad. I have to get a new laptop. This is probably one of the worst laptops I've ever had. I use a cheap Walmart camera hooked to my computer. I select external. Yeah, I'll probably try that. So right now I'm using the phone I normally use live streaming. Just because there are some settings I want to play with, like I said, in a little while. Visual, and stuff. Because I'm realizing what I see is not what other people are seeing. When I go to my tablet and look and watch, it looks different than what I'm seeing. I thought I was looking pretty good. Then I go back and look, it's dark, and it's just not that good. But you don't really need a good picture for reading Dianetics and stuff. So, I wasn't that worried about it. But I'm definitely going to get a better laptop since I'm into this now. Now that I know this is going to be happening. Because, when you first start, you never know where it might go. Who else is here? There's some other people here. I was talking to my husband. And I said, even if it's just me and you, it's like getting on the phone with a friend and catching up. So I don't really ever care how many people come on when it's just one of my chats. And like I said, I know there's probably other channels because it's 9 o'clock for me. That's 7 o'clock for the West Coast. There's a lot of people on the West Coast and different places that do evening streams. Now, was it the one freeze up? If you see any more, let me know. Yeah, that's what I saw. See, right now I don't see that dark background. I even have an extra light I bought over here. And a lamp and a candle going. So I'm not seeing that until I rewatch it on my tablet or my phone. So that's why it's really hard to set up because I'm not seeing it. It's kind of frustrating actually, because I'm not seeing what you guys see. So what's going on with you, Gary? You're caught up with me pretty much. My son's been going to school up in Dallas since July. I've seen him once. This time he didn't just show up in the driveway. You like the dark background? Okay. I'm good with that too. You can't really see the stuff that's back there anyway, because I've rewatched it. You really can't see the pictures and stuff. It's too far away. So, yeah, because right now I look very pale, and washed out almost. So maybe that's a good thing. I got to get new curtains. These are ugly. At least they match the walls, but I didn't have a choice on the color. I'm going to get black ones. But, yeah. Just working my full head off 89 hours a week. Oh, my gosh. I could not do that. Couldn't. I also could never work nights. My husband's worked nights since 2010. And a lot with the Army. Because if he had a choice, he always took the night shift. So, but I did it for a week and it made me sick. My body can't handle it. But I've been sleeping overly much this last week. I think it's because of the infection. And a hot compress helps sometimes. My husband made me one. Here it is. It's just a wet rag in a baggie. And I heat it in the microwave because it's nice and small. I use that. shorthanded. Yeah, that's why my husband had to work his days off, because they only have a small group of security officers. And if somebody quits or is sick, so funny new information about me. Didn't even think about it. So many months ago, actually maybe a year ago, I saw how when somebody up and quit, everybody had to work overtime. Somebody stayed over their shift. My husband would come in early. And I'm like, you know what? I can do that job now with my implant. The SOC is just sits in the office and watches cameras and takes phone calls and dispatches officers to problem areas. My husband, because he works at night alone, does both. He's the officer and he's the SOC because it's at night and there's no customers or workers or anything. So he does both. And so I said, you know what? Let your boss know I'm interested in being just an emergency on call. And he mentioned it again while I was in the car and he was talking to his boss. He put it on speaker and he mentioned it again. And I said, yeah, I said, I'm not looking for a minimum number of hours. Tell me how many jobs has an on-call person that doesn't want a minimum amount of hours. I don't care. I don't need the money. It'd be nice, but I just wanted to help out so everybody wasn't stretched so thin. Well, I put in my application a few days ago and I talked to his boss this morning and he's going to text me for an interview early next week. And then I'm going to also get my level 3 license, which is armed, because if you're SOC, you're unarmed inside. But I wanted to be able to be on call for all positions. So I've got to go get my level 3. Hey, Kathy. I'm a PSW, and it's hard to find people who will commit to the job because it's hard. What's a PSW? I want to say I know what that is, but it's not coming to me right now. But yeah, that's the problem. And my husband, he's been at this location for 3.5, almost 4 years now, and I think he's called off like 3 times, and a couple of those things were just because of car trouble. He goes in sick because he's alone. It's not like personal support work. Oh, okay. Yeah. And my husband, they always know if they call my husband, he's going to say yes. He never says no, mainly because we have no life. Yeah, my daughter worked in a nursing home in California. She was in the kitchen, and the workers that the PSWs, I guess, who worked with the people, because it was more of an assisted living in a sense. They had I think they had apartments. Yeah. And they're supposed to, if they have a special need in their meal, they're supposed to send it down. Oh, okay. And they were never doing it. They weren't. There were sometimes they would leave people sitting in the dining room for an hour or more waiting to go back to their room because they were in a wheelchair or something. And my daughter she started making friends with them and remembering their needs. Like they had a Muslim person in there, and it started hurting her heart. She couldn't do it anymore. Yeah. Now my sister-in-law, when she was like a teenager, she did it. She did that, and she was great. And the place she worked was great. It's just, it's really hard. They don't pay enough because they tried to get me to work in a kitchen I applied, it was a long time ago, like 20 years ago. And they just didn't pay enough for the amount of weekends and stuff they want you to work. They need to pay more. So anyway, I think the reason he's pushing this through so much is somebody did just leave, but they're already they always wait till the last minute to hire. But they have these events, and they're having one in October, and they need extra people. A lot of times they'll hire police officers as extra security because they close down streets for this. Where my husband works for an entity that has a lot of properties, and it's like a shopping. I've never come out and said it, but if anybody watched all my videos, they'd figure it out. But because they're kind of famous actually. What he does at night is different what they do during the day. During the day it's like a shopping area. They have a bakery, they have a coffee shop, they have a restaurant on an offsite. They've got all these little boutique shops. So they're dealing with customers and stuff during the day. Well, at night, my husband is either watching cameras or he's patrolling downtown Waco, all of the properties that they own. A lot. A lot. So, yeah. Yeah, Kathy, it does. And I appreciate it. I'm glad you're willing. It does. It takes a special person to work in a nursing home. It really does. I didn't want to put my grandmother in a nursing home. I just asked my aunt to make sure she was in a nice one. And when I went to visit, it seemed pretty nice. What was cool is my aunt's mother-in-law was already there, and they ended up being roommates. So they were technically related. So that was pretty cool. We actually sold her house for very little to pay for like the last 2 years that she was in the nursing home. But yeah, my daughter, she said she wanted to stay. I think she should have switched over to the personal care worker, but she's working from home now in California. Um, they have a special credit. I don't know what to call it. Like when you get health insurance, ours is a big old hotel that they turned into a home. Well, at least they reused something. Yeah, I know you guys have the universal health care up there, right? I hear it's not that great from other Canadians. That's the only thing. My husband, I tried to get him, okay, out of the army at 10 years. And he's like, no, I'm retiring. So we have medical care because he was watching. His parents were much older than most because she was 40 when he was born. He had an older sister that could have been his mom. Yeah. Oh, you think's pretty great? Oh, good. Gary, being off today, was able to catch some SPTV channels today. Some good news out of the courts today for one of the protesters. I saw some of the updates. Let me know what's going on. What happened? Because I'm not up to date with this. I've been sleeping a lot and just wanting to watch stupid TV. I haven't had the energy to. I really haven't watched a lot of SPTV lately. That's why I was Saturday night on my live stream. I was side swiped with something that was going on, and I was like, I have no idea what's going on. I still don't know everything. Watched a bunch of crazy stuff today. Yeah, I'm just, I don't know. The little bit that I did see or hear about, I more or less feel like that they should have been dealing with this on their own, talking to each other. It seems to me to be more of a personal stuff. I mean, it to me, it doesn't seem like something that's, I don't know how to put it. Um, Dodge and William reported that the case against Solomon was found in his favor. Good. Now, I don't know a lot about that case with Solomon. Hi, Scooter Mom. Over the hate that they are screaming about. Yeah. I feel like I was I hit one stream yesterday for like 5 minutes. And I'm like, hi, Susan. I was just like, this seems like a personality, somebody got their feelings hurt over something that isn't about what we're doing. So deal with that in the background. Why are we bringing it online? Now, if somebody's doing something unethical or illegal, then yeah, go report them. But the stuff that I was watching, and like I said, I don't want to get into it. I was just like, really? And there's been like 3 dust ups because that has involved the same person. And I'm beginning to be like, well, maybe there's a common denominator. I just can't with all the BS. I know, and I think that's where like we all are. You have kind of like the people that are supporting, they like to watch the drama. You have that side. And then you have the adult side that don't want to deal with it. We just want to move on with what we're doing, continue the work, why we're here, and that's it. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just not even going to deal with it. Like I said, unless somebody's done something illegal or really unethical or they're a child predator, if it's not one of those 3 things, I don't care. Well, I mean, if they come on and they're spewing some ridiculous hate like ZDT or something like that, okay, that's mean and uncalled for. But other than that, people are going to have disagreements, and I'm not involved. That's the way I feel about it. Because, like I said, because I had that toxic friend when in my 20s, I can see crazy a mile away. And I'm seeing some people that I think are like to be part of that stuff. Hey, Gary. Oh, dude, there was a stream a couple days ago. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I'm seeing. I'm like, I get you have a channel. I get you want to come on here and talk to your people. But there's, I think, a line that maybe you should have a conversation with that person first. If you haven't tried to have a conversation with that person first and you're going around behind the scenes talking to everybody else, then, and you haven't talked to that person, to me, that's high school. And Scooter Mom mentioned in her stream that people were wanting people to take sides. And I don't think that's fair. Because so my Saturday night stream, I was given like a list of streams to go watch to find out what was going on. But then some things happened that kind of explained it. I don't have time to go watch 5 different streams talking about this subject or whatever was going on. And they're like, oh, they have the receipts and they have this. And I'm like, then go talk to that person. Yeah, Kathy. I probably won't, depending on how bad there's a couple that I'm not going to unsub from because they still have good content. They still come on and, talk about anti-Scientology and trauma and stuff like that and have good streams. I'm not going to unsub from that person. But if all they're doing is complaining all the time, what's the point? And there's more going on right now. I'm done with it. Well, I could tell that it wasn't over because, and the amount of people that was in that, here's the thing that I've seen I have other creators I watch, like Popcorn Planet and other stuff, that just because somebody says this person did such and such and such, I've always said there's 3 sides to every story. You have this side, you have this side, and then you have something in the middle that's usually closer to the truth. So I don't believe it's completely this and sometimes completely this. It's usually, and if they would have come together to deal with it, it probably would have not gotten so out there, So like I said, I don't have all the details and I don't really care. So like I said, unless it comes out that somebody is doing something illegal or highly unethical, or I will say nasty mean, like ZDT, which I've never watched him, so I don't even know what he looks like. Or what was the third thing? Or they're like a child predator, which is both unethical and illegal. I really, as long as they're still working towards educating about Scientology, still going after Scientology, I'm good. Whether I watch them or not, I'll stay subbed. I'm not big on them subbing unless it's something major. But yeah, I just wanted to come on and chat with you guys and let you know why I haven't been protesting myself. And I literally I've been sleeping twice as much as I normally do. Usually in the morning, once I'm up, even if it's 2 hours sleep, I'm up. And I've been going back to sleep for hours in the afternoon. It's because of this infection I still have. It went from my tooth into my sinuses and into this gland. And my antibiotics will be done tomorrow, which means I need new antibiotics. So I knew what they gave me wasn't going to be strong enough. I should have said something. But I just can't and if it had cooled off during the day, it has cooled off at night, but still 95 freaking degrees here. Thank you. I do feel a lot better. I can eat. This is healing. The one they took out is healing. This one doesn't hurt all the time. So I've been able to eat real food. For a few days, I was eating nothing but Jello, potatoes, a couple other things. Seems like everything that's soft had sugar in it, which is not good for me. So hey, no face. I didn't say hi yet. And hi, Scooter Mom. Make sure I got hi, Susan. In case I missed you guys. I am stuffy though, and I think that's why I was stuffy for a while. Is I had a sinus infection, and I knew I had a sinus infection, but I didn't know it had started here. It may not have. Maybe it went from here to here. I don't know. Okay, that's fine. Oh, I get that. I understand, Gary. Miss Kim. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I am. It's just it annoys me when I can't go. We're gonna talk Jello. I bought a lot of Jello. A lot. Because what I didn't tell you was at the same time, my husband got a toothache, and he can't get in till the 8th. So he had one side that he said it's better now, but he needs a tooth removed. So hey, Mr. Fraud. We're just chewing the cud here. Is that a thing? I don't even know. uh, but yeah, I'll do an update on my community page too, just to let y'all know what. So I wanted to try to go. Okay. Oh, okay. Maybe to Friday night tomorrow night. No. What is today? I'm so lost. My husband worked his days off, so I'm confused. It's just starting to bug me. But yeah, chewing the cud. Someone took issue with people not believing her assumptions today. Oh, and Becky's chat went live on her own, and within minutes, Becky was invaded by trolls. Like trolls or people's peeps in the chat giving her a hard time. There's kind of a little bit of a difference. I hope not. It's like once we get over something like this, somebody else has to start it. I would say people's peeps. Yeah, that's what I don't like. I don't like when somebody's chat goes into somebody else's chat and gives them a hard time. Leave them alone. If there's somebody that you don't agree with, just leave. Don't go there. That's the way adults would do. Because I had somebody messaging me that was like they were talking facts. They had receipts, and I'm like, even if they do, even if they're not getting along, even if somebody's feelings got hurt and the person did them wrong, that's between them. 4-month cycles, that sounds about right. Yeah. It's like once we finally start getting back to normal again, there has to be something. So, the most overused phrase, I know. I try not to use it. I'm using, somebody said dust up. I'm using that. There was a dust up. I like that. But the problem is it fits usually. Um if somebody hurt my feelings and said something about me, and if I could contact them, that's what I would do first. Now, there's a chance that I might say somebody hurt my feelings, but most likely I wouldn't. Oh, no bot. Hello. What'd you change it for? Yeah. And okay, so I was talking to my husband about it, and we do have to remember that some of these people grew up differently than us. As a never in, I have to remember that the way that they grew up and the way that they saw the world and the way they were taught to react is very different, and that they did sustain trauma during that time. And that's why I'm not going all in, bashing this person, unsubbing, and all that, because even though I don't like what they're doing, I'm trying to understand that they may not understand the best way to handle it. Hey, Carrie Ann. Yeah, I didn't either. I didn't even let my presence be known in that chat, and I wasn't in it very long. I was like, oh, okay, and then I left. Because I don't need the stress. Matter of fact, I've been off my antidepressants for a long time because I'm not that bad really, but man, I get tension headaches in my face. And so I was supposed to call my psychiatrist today. So no more Jello. Did someone say ice cream? Ice cream, I think I will. What's your favorite Jello? Mine's green. I like lime. And I cannot stand Jello with fruit pieces in it. Ugh, it's gross. I know some people love it, but I really like it better when I have some whipped cream on top. So that's the way I've been eating it. Yeah, gotta have the red. Yeah, yeah, me too. And that's another reason why I've kind of stayed away. I haven't really been watching that much. I can only eat Jello with milk on it, like cereal. Really? I've never heard anybody do that. Yeah, I like the green. That's what I got right now. And what I did do too, though, because I'm always concerned with the sugar content. I can't handle a lot of sugar. I didn't gain my weight through overeating. It was many drugs they gave me that cause weight gain. I've never been able to handle a lot of sugar. So what I did is I found the plain packets of gelatin powder and juice. And I'm going to try to make it with juice. You heat up the juice and make it that way. I'm hoping there's maybe less sugar that way. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I don't have that. I've never been a person that can handle a lot of sugar. I can only eat dark chocolate. I have never heard of Jello with milk on it. I bet I would like it if I like the whipped cream. I try. I have to stay away from those artificial sweeteners, aspartame, or I don't even know if I'm saying it right. And that stuff, I try to stay away from it. Um, I found out aspartame in Diet Coke and stuff, it will cause short-term memory problems because it sits in your frontal lobe. See, our country allows so much crap that other countries all over the world have banned. That's real. I've never heard of that. That's trippy. I'm gonna try it. I will try anything once. Oh, I see. You put what on it? I don't know what that is. Or did it made you? Is it correcting you? Hi, Hitzel. How are you? Hitzel was nice enough to be. So I had to have two references on. Oh, I didn't tell you guys. I'm gonna catch you up because I think it was just me and Gary when I was saying it. I put in an application to my husband's job because about a year ago I told him to say something to his boss. So they are security for this location, and when anybody leaves, they have to hire somebody new, or somebody's sick or on vacation. They all have to work overtime. And I said, I don't need a job, but I'm feeling better than I used to. And I would be fine with just being an emergency call in. And so he finally mentioned it again in the car when he was talking to his supervisor. And so we talked, and I said, yeah, I said, I just want to be on call for when you guys need somebody. And he said, okay. And I put in the application a few days ago, and he called me, or I called him this morning, and he's gonna have an interview with me the beginning of next week because there's an event coming up in October they need extra people for. So I will work. It's about 3 days long, and that's all I'm gonna do is just be an emergency call in. And I'll never, even though my husband works there, we're never ever gonna work the same shift because he's alone at night. So he might relieve me, or I might relieve him, but and the high boss's son works there, so they can't really say no because we're relatives. Yeah, I did used to get the sugar-free Jello. I wish I would have this time because there's a lot of sugar in there. My husband made me a bowl the other day, and he put way too much and I said, oh well, give me some whipped cream, but give me a little bit more than. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even see the Jello for all the whipped cream he put on it. Oh, ooh, I couldn't finish that. Um, so anyway, Hitzel, you have to have two references that aren't related to you. I have no friends. None. They're all related. So my neighbor let me use her. And then I asked Hitzel if I could use her. She said, yeah. I was like, well, thank you. I don't even think he's going to call because he knows my husband. Yeah. I have to have whipped cream. I can eat it by itself. 401 in Stratford. Oh, you guys are talking. You guys live near each other? It's cool. Yeah, there's somebody in my chat that lives in Waco. It's pretty cool. I'm trying really, really hard. We're waiting on the weather to break so we can start working on this house. It needs painted, the roof needs fixed. It's just too hot because I want to go move into our camper. I want to get out of this house and I want to rent it. And that'll be a step towards him fully retiring once we can rent this house out and we don't have to take care of it anymore. Too much whipped cream, said no one ever. I did. Only because he did it in a way that I couldn't even see the jello. I had to go find it. I had to go on a hunt. I know. Isn't that cool, Kathy? Texas is very hard to find anybody near you. It really is. It was so funny one time when I don't know where we were, up back home or something. And somebody said, "Oh, I have a friend in Texas. You might run into them." And I was like, "You have no idea how big Texas is. Oh God, my phone's up there. I am dead center, literally dead center. If you took an X and they always put a heart in the middle, that's me. I'm an hour from Austin and an hour from Waco. We live exactly in between. I am exactly 2.5 to 3 hours from Houston, Austin, and San Antonio. El Paso, I believe, is 11 hours. And you're still in Texas. When we used to go home up north, just to get out of Texas took us 5 to 6 hours. I would literally get to Texarkana and get a hotel. I'm just happy I'm out of Texas. I'm done. And then the second day, I'd drive like 10 hours. I'm like, it's ridiculous. I know how big Canada is. I know how you have, I don't remember which cities, but I know you have population on the west and you have population on the east. I just did that wrong. And then like kind of nothing in between. It's kind of like here too. Because West Texas, there's nothing. Between El Paso and here, nothing. My son worked for 2 years up in with the oil refineries in Midland. He was in the middle of nowhere. I mean, and there was no place to live. I think he lived in like a trailer, a bunkhouse. He lived in a bunkhouse because he couldn't find an apartment. Because so many people had gone up there to work for the refineries and there was nowhere to live. They actually had people living in old FEMA trailers. But he got tired of it after 2 years because he was working every day. Because he lived there, he couldn't say no. Hi, Mary Sue. Yeah, we're just chatting. So I might be working here and there. But it shouldn't be that often. But when they have a turnaround, even when they know somebody's leaving, they procrastinate. My favorite shirt. Can you read it? I got much procrastinating done today. That's me. But that's them too. So he's going to text me and I'll have an interview the beginning of next week. And it sounded like you really liked my resume because I only put the 3 jobs that pertained. I worked at the police station on post. I had a security clearance and I had to answer phones. I did background checks for the whole post. All the soldiers getting deployed with FBI and Homeland Security investigators would come to me for background checks. I did the weapons registrations and I typed reports. Then I did my Army job, was telecommunications center operator. I had to have security clearance when I was 17. And what I used, this is funny. So 1986 is when I joined the Army. What I did was called a rat rig. It was a big box that sat on the back of a pickup truck, had an air conditioner, 2 computers, and a scrambler. and we could send global messages. And I was only in the reserves, and my reserves didn't have the equipment, and then when they did get it, it didn't work. So I didn't even do my job for the 4 years I was in. I ended up just working radios and stuff like that. I wasn't even doing my job. But what I was doing in a box on the back of a pickup truck with 2 people in it, they now can do in a radio this big sitting in their Humvee. So when I tried to go back in 97, I had to find a new job. They didn't even have my job anymore. So, like I said, what I used to do, they could do in probably something a little bit bigger than this. So that was funny. My brothers worked in the oil field in Odessa and lived in old campers. Yep. You know, Odessa, Midland, kind of same area ish. There's nothing out there. Yeah, my son was supposed to drive. He got his CDL, but he ended up doing more in the warehouse and stuff. My second son was a tool man in the Midland area all the time. Seems to be there, or Northwest Utah all the time. Oh, cool. Yeah, now he knows. It's probably different now. It was many years ago. My son did that. But see, you do meet people that kind of, you know, even in Texas, kind of the same area. But yeah, he was promised like this much money, and he was getting like this much money, and after 2 years he was mad, so he left. But he's using the rest of it. He's 36 now, and he's using the rest of his GI Bill, 2 years worth, to, I'm not going to say, just because you never know. I don't want him. But he's starting a new career because, again, I really do think my son is on the spectrum. He's very high functioning, but he gets taken advantage of very easy, even at his age. And as many times as he's been screwed over, he still believes people. He doesn't get the social cues. So I've wanted him to get tested with the VA. So he was working in a job for 3 years that he wasn't in the position that he was actually doing and not getting paid for it. And they kept promising and promising, and he said, I'm done. And he quit. He took his vacation and then started school. And he's getting, and hopefully he wants to work with drones when he's done. Let's see. His company keeps rooms booked all the time, whether they use them or not. Oh, wow. Yeah, they had like, when my son was there, they had a bunkhouse that you were in a bunk, and then they had a room and a kitchen area. And so my son stayed there, and when he got to be the senior most person there, he got the room. But, he was fine with that. But, yeah. Yeah. So they were supposed to send him to crane school at his job for 2 years. And this new guy came in who was like 20 years old. And they sent him to crane school knowing he's probably going to go somewhere else and make twice as much as a crane operator. And he did. While my son was there and they didn't send him to crane school, they sent this other guy. He comes back and he was gone before my son was gone. That's what was the last straw. The last straw, I should say. He's like, y'all deserve it. Because my son worked his butt off for 3 years. Never called off. Never hardly took vacation. So, I know. Why does that happen, crappy people? Doesn't make any sense. He was a loyal 3-year employee, and what was funny, what was another last straw was he was gone. I can't remember if he was sick or what. And they literally brought in like 10 people from inside to do his job. What he would do is he worked at a fabricating type place, and they fabricated like big fiberglass containers that were so big you put them on a flatbed semi trailer and you could maybe get two on it. And he was in charge of loading, making the brackets out of wood to put them on, working with the drivers. And he worked outside in Texas all day long. And it is a physically hard job. And when he saw that they had to bring in 10 people to do his job while he was gone, and they wouldn't give him the pay that he asked for, I mean, he couldn't even barely afford his apartment, his bills, and the car payment and insurance. So we bought the car. He paid 2/3 of the payment, and we paid the insurance on us. So, and he could barely afford that. And he was in his 30s. He said, I'm tired. I need something different. Oh, yeah. Sounds like it. Because what ended up happening to my son there is he worked his butt off and they promoted somebody else. Oh, yeah, I know. I've worked places where it's my anxiety. I have the kind of anxiety that makes you make sure you do everything right. You worry about everything getting done right. And I'm always worried I'm going to get fired if I screw up. And then I have coworkers who are trying to get fired, it looks like. I mean, the stuff they were doing, I'm like, if I did that, I would get fired. I just know I would. I just don't get it. Same thing, my husband at work, he's getting very frustrated. And I'm like, you have to care less. You care too much about everybody doing the right thing. And you can't help what the other people are doing. You can only do your job and make sure you're doing your job right. And just, yeah. It blows me away. Because if I was a manager, because I've had my own businesses, but I cleaned, I did houses and commercial. And then I opened a home daycare. I didn't have any employees. It was just me. But if I did, buddy, I would have never put up with that stuff. Ever. Oh, I don't know. I learned a lot of self-discipline early in life. So I had the ROTC in high school, and then I was in basic training when I was 17. So I just don't get it. You didn't go yet? Go do your trash, Gary. Right now. Just let us know when you're back. I'll make sure you don't miss anything. The people I work with call in sick all the time, don't do their job properly, and I run around like the fool doing it all right way, never phone in sick. Yep. That's me and my husband and my daughter. That's why she ended up quitting that place, because she was doing things that weren't even her job, because she just cared about the people too much. And plus, when it would have to be hard when you make friends with them and then they're gone. And if you don't know, Kathy works in a nursing home. We were talking about that. But yeah, I'm that way too. I'm the kind of person that once I'm told to do something a certain way, that's the way I'm going to do it forever. I still, from driver school, I still make an L-shaped turn. You know how some people cut the corner, I don't. L-shaped turn, because that's the way I was taught to do it. I ran a home daycare for 38 years. Wow, I can only make it 8 years. Ooh, Kathy. I did it for 8 till my kids were old enough. Just because I couldn't afford to work minimum wage and pay for daycare. And that's why I closed my home cleaning business, because I was putting my daughter in daycare, and I wasn't, between gas and my customers were really far between, and daycare and expenses, I wasn't making enough. I didn't have enough clients, because the problem with cleaning homes and stuff is once you get somebody, you have that person forever. And so it was really hard to get new people. Um, I was cleaning new construction and move outs too to help, but kind of the home daycare fell in my lap. I didn't plan it. We literally bought this house, and a month later, the woman that was watching my daughter got on post housing. Sometimes you have to be on a waiting list. And that's when I worked on post, it was, I mean, it was a good distance. She acted like she was going to still watch the kids. She asked me to take them for a few weeks, the kids that she had, while she moved. Well, she was a little bit of a jerk. Well, one thing, it was going to be out of the way for a couple of them, and she just didn't call anybody back. And so I was like, oh, I'll just keep doing it. And so it was just babysitting at first. I only had 4 kids, 3 or 4. But I eventually got registered. I got on the state food program, and my living room, I ran it like a daycare center. I lived at the teacher store. I had a lesson plan book. I had everything blocked up, learning time and this and that and the other. And I had 2 bulletin boards. My husband built me this wonderful big kids table with benches. It could hold, if they squished, it could hold 12, but it held 10. And I ended up getting school teachers and school bus drivers because the word got around about me. And, oops, sorry, I keep hitting the table with my foot. I'm old. When I did it, it was 95 to 2003. So, oh my. Oh, that's terrible. That's got to be hard on you, though. Oh, wait, what? Oh, yeah, and see, oh, me too. Um, that happened to me. So, my mom was terminal in 99. I closed my daycare, and they had to go find somebody else. And I had these 2 girls that was in my daycare the whole time. When they moved, because usually in this town, the only time people left me is if they got a divorce, lost a job, or they got restationed somewhere. It was usually they got restationed. So, and they do have a lot of on post daycare, home daycare. And I was also told I was too cheap. I called the 2 daycares in my area. They were, at the time, they were 65 a week, so I did 50. And I didn't raise that for many years. And I didn't charge more for babies, but I stopped taking babies too, because I was driving to 3 different schools to do pickups. And I didn't want to deal with having to put a small child in the car. So I did 2 and up. But when I came back and tried to find, I had 3 jobs in a month trying to find a job that worked. And the daycare lady I found that Kathy was using, my kids were telling me that she had a van and it didn't have enough seats. So she had kids sitting on the floor. Then they told me she went inside somewhere and left them all in the car. And I was like, and her house didn't look like there was any kids there. It was immaculate. It wasn't set up for kids. They were outside all the time. And I was like, okay. So then I found somebody else. She was an older lady, and she was registered. These people were registered. Matter of fact, the lady with the van ended up getting in trouble for it. I found it on where you can check on the website. you can look at registered home daycare and see if they've been cited. She was cited for kids not having seatbelts. So I found another lady, and I only needed after school care. My kids were in school, so I had to have them in that area. Well, they could walk to her house. She smoked. I've never smoked. And I asked her about it. I said, can you just not smoke for the hour and a half that my kids are there? They were there for an hour and a half. And she's like, well, all the other moms are okay with it. So they were smokers. And so I ended up opening my daycare back up. So my two girls that were with me she was 9 months old when we started. And she was 7 when she left. They came back because she stayed with the lady with the seatbelt problem because she couldn't find nobody else. So yeah, I don't want that to be Tom. I had a really good job when he retired in 2010, and then he was supposed to go to school. Well, literally 2 months after he retired, I got sick. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you were in it a long time. Oh, sure. Hi. See you now. Oh, okay. Feel better now, Gary? I hope so. Oh, I can see your picture when I do that. Cool. A little bit. Yes. Yeah, my husband, they can't. Yeah, and I didn't have a daycare, but I had my grandkids up until 2 years ago, and they're 11 and 12. So I had them, my daughter was a single mom for most of that time, and I had them, and I did the same thing with them. There was one time where she had a boyfriend who they were living together, and they were about the same age. So I had 3 of them. I had his littlest, and then one went to school. But when school was out, I had all 4. And even when I was sick, that was hard. It took a lot of willpower. But yeah, that was a rule that I had. I never wanted my kids in daycare until they could talk. And see, my mom did home daycare. So my mom had my son. I moved back when he was 5 or 6 months old. She had him till he was 2 when I moved to California, when we got government housing. So that was nice. I knew that, I didn't have to find daycare. But yeah, daycare is hard. I'm listening to the candidates, and I really do hope they do something to help with daycare. Instead of giving away money to sit at home, I would rather see them lift people up and help them get jobs. And the best way to do that is to help with daycare. And what they were saying was the worst part is the supply and demand. There's only so many daycares and people that are willing to do it, so they can charge astronomical prices. I don't even know what the going rate is right now. I need water. But yeah, even when when we first got here, my daughter was 8 or 9 months old, and I started working weekend nights, midnight to 8. And that worked okay until Monday morning when my husband went to work, and I had to try to stay awake. And I was literally laying on the floor with her, playing with her. I had everything blocked off in case I dozed off. It was hard. I did that for a year and a half. Oh my. Oh. Yeah, you've got grandkids about the same age as I do. Because she just had a new one, be 2 in next month. A 2-year-old, 11, and a 12. So she just moved into her own apartment last week. Luckily, she thought, I don't know, she didn't understand. She moved like 8 minutes away. I don't know how many miles that was. from where she did live, and found out she was worried they wouldn't get to go to the same middle school. Well, not only that, they don't have to ride the bus. It's literally a block away. Hi, Miss Sunrise Dawn. Yep. I loved Georgia when I lived there. Where are you at again, Gary? What state? You're in the States, right? I know you told me, but my brain can't remember. Yeah, it was hard. That was hard. But she was a good baby. Yeah, how was your storm damage? I haven't really talked to you since then. I saw you on Dusty's stream when you realized it was coming for you. Oklahoma, that's right. You're close. I need to go up and visit my friend in Okmulgee. We haven't seen him in a while. Oh, good. I'm glad. That was bad. So bad. All we got was a cool front. We didn't even get rain. Because it was going away. So the storm was going this way, but it was, I think it was turning this way. So we got this cold front come in, which was nice for a couple of days. Oh my gosh. Really? I need to watch more news on that. I knew it was bad. Wow. I saw the house floating down the river. Wow. We've been lucky. The places we've lived have always been kind of not near natural disasters too much. We were in the 89 quake, but it hit San Francisco, which was farther than us because the way it's built. Still, oh my gosh. My husband, the other company he used to work for, used to send him to places like that to like guard the insurance trailer or places like do you guys remember the explosion in West Texas? The town is called West. And they had this fertilizer explosion and it literally took out like a third of the town. My husband went up there for that. Well, that's good, Kathy. Yeah, here we're in Central Texas. Now we do get tornadoes here, but right where I am, it's kind of hilly, so they literally can hit a few miles away, and they go right around us always. Because there's a trailer park down the street. Because it used to freak me out, and this guy said, "Well, that trailer park down the street's been there since 1962, and it's fine." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, Snowmageddon. Whoa, that was bad." Yeah, we were lucky we didn't lose any power. So we don't live near a major city. So, oh, really? Really? See, I haven't been watching the news on it as much as I should. I told you guys I've been watching really stupid TV just to keep my mind off of things. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Our water burst. Our water pipes burst. My husband was out there. He had to fix them 3 different times. But I grew up. What was funny is me and my daughter talked till 3 in the morning the other night. And our reoccurring nightmares is tornadoes, even though we've never seen one or been in one. But I grew up in the Ohio Valley. We had tornadoes. I had a tornado bag as a kid. I put all my favorite stuff and I'd go sit in the chair waiting to. We didn't have a basement, but and I remember sitting on my grandma's back porch watching a funnel cloud circle that never did drop, thank goodness. And then there was one time I was visiting Tom. We were in high school. We went to high school together. But my senior year, I had moved out of the district. It was 30 miles from my house to his house, and 25 to the school or something like that. And I'm like, it was a bad storm. I said, well, let me stay here until the storm's over. And my grandmother's husband, who was a jerk, said, no, you have to come home. And I found out the next day I passed 3 tornadoes. I just didn't see them because we had tall trees. Yeah. I've been rewatching Eureka. You get them in Canada, really? So share. Now, see, that's disgusting. A lot of that happened when the big one, when it hit Houston. I cannot remember the name. When it took out New Orleans. Well, we've had a couple hit Houston. I call it a go bag. Yeah. Well, we used to have, my church used to push having at least 72-hour kits. When the kids were younger, we did. Everybody had a backpack with a change of clothes because, if you have a fire or something in the middle of the night, you're going to run out in your nightgown. So we had like sweatpants and a shirt and some shoes. You're supposed to have 72 hours of food and water. And we made little sewing kits. We tried to have 3 days of prescription meds if we had them, and all that. So if you had to run out, Katrina, yeah, we had those. Well, we don't have them anymore, and we're dumb. And then I had all the pictures, duplicates and stuff, in a plastic tote that I could grab and throw in the truck. But I don't even know which closet that's in. Nuh-uh. But yeah, I suggest anybody to. Ugh. Oh, I feel your pain. We had a dog get sprayed once. That didn't go well. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I heard that Starlink was trying to help. That's why, why, just why? I hate when common sense goes out the window. But yeah, I'm with you. You get them windows closed. I almost every time I drive somewhere, we pass a skunk that got hit. Man, I can't believe he chases tornadoes in Texas. I do. Is he affiliated with Texas Storm Chasers at all? Because that's who I go to for my radar. That's okay. I appreciate you. I hadn't really planned on being here tonight, but Gary was like, "Hey, why don't you go live?" I was like, "Okay." I haven't been on since Saturday. I know not everybody can come to my Saturday night stream, um, but I do miss going down to Austin. I really do, because it just, what do they call that? FOMO, but not really FOMO, but kind of like that, because I'm like, okay, have they gotten anybody to come inside? Is there somebody that walked by that I could have talked to? That's what bugs me. Not that I think I'm this great force, but it still worries me, when I'm not down there. Uh, there's a story about a helo pilot was going in to rescue people and was threatened by a fire chief with arrest if he continued. Again, common sense. Why? Yeah, and I watched a documentary one time about back in the day before they started like giving states emergency funds and stuff. Back then, the communities would come together and they didn't need to. And that's what we're missing today. Oh, okay. Well, I hope you stay safe. But yeah, I grew up, I'm old enough to remember when that was the case. When, your communities, my husband grew up in a really small town. Everybody knew everybody. There was one traffic light and it turned yellow at 6 o'clock because there was no more traffic. They got a second light recently, but it's out on the highway. Part 2 of that story is on my watch later list for later tonight. What story did I miss? Oh, about the fire. Hey, let me see if I can. Uh, do you know? I'd like to see it. Can you? I don't know if you could put a link in or just if you know what channel that's on, I'll find it on YouTube. Um, huh. I'm on my personal channel on my tablet, and my live stream is up. So, uh, so Solomon's case today was a ZDT case again. Uh, I'm confused. I thought that was over with. Did they go back to court? Like for all the crap he's been doing? Because I saw where William was putting flyers out in his neighborhood, and I was liking that because come to find out he was peeping into other people's windows. Did y'all know that? He's 75 and chasing tornadoes. Holy crap. Oh, he's trying to appeal. Yeah, well, his butt needs to be in jail for continuing, is what I don't understand. Yeah, well, he needs to be in jail. At least, at least Scientology hasn't infiltrated the judicial system yet, or they don't care enough about him. A couple days ago, where was that? In North Carolina? Oh my god. I am going to definitely check that stuff out. I haven't followed it as much as I should. I hope so. My sister-in-law and her kids, they lived in North Carolina for a long time, but they're in Ohio now. Oh my gosh. And they have well, they changed the name, but it used to be Fort Bragg. I can't believe Fort Bragg isn't helping. Sorry. That's horrible. There's no way my husband and I wouldn't help for something like that. Wow. I did see that. I saw pictures of how deep the water was. Uh, So I was watching William, and he was passing out flyers about ZDT, found out where he had moved to because he got evicted, and found out he'd been seen filming a neighbor through her window and filming another neighbor. But my question was in the chat, his chat goes by fast. I kept asking, has anyone told her? She needs to know. And he had talked about having a group come out and protest outside his building. And I was all for that. Because what he's been saying about Solomon is disgusting. And now we know he's a peeping Tom. And you know what happens with peeping Toms? If they haven't done it already, it always escalates. And from what I understand, I think she was a single female living alone. Yeah. He is. I mean, there's a special place in hell for people like him. I know. And see, my daughter moved to Southern California, and it just freaks the crap out of me that she lives there. Oh, yeah. Ugh. And I told her, Mr. Fraud. But I hope so. Wow. But stopping somebody with a helicopter trying to help people, that makes no sense. And I'd have told them to go F themselves. Okay. Oh, wrong one. Hold on. All over ZDT? Good. Oh, 29 Palms is in the middle of nowhere. It's in the middle of the desert. It's not, he's not going to experience California. My husband's gone there for training. I think it's near Palm Springs, and it gets freaking hot there. We drove through there to get here from Monterey, California in the summer. It was so hot. Okay. Yeah, I don't see the link. Let me see if you can give me like, is it a YouTube channel or something? I'll go find it and I'll put the link in. I should be able to do it. You probably have a lot of people that were stressing share and I because I've been out of it for almost a week and a half now. I have not. He has never been to the desert. He's gonna be drinking a lot of water. A lot of water. Tell him to drink water. When we drove through there behind it, so we lived in Monterey, California when we bought our first new car in 1990. That was when air conditioning was optional. And we're in Monterey, California, we never used the heater or the air conditioner. It was like in the 60s all the time. So we're like, oh, we don't need an air conditioner. Well, 3 years later, we get stationed in Texas. And we literally had a cooler of ice, a little cooler, with rags dipped in the ice, put them on our head to get through Southern California, where 29 Palms is near Blythe. It was so hot. And through New Mexico, and New Mexico and Arizona was a little better. That part of California, I don't think it's very far from. See, if I had my phone, I could Google it. The Death Valley, I think, or is it Mojave Desert? One or the other. Yeah, he needs to do some studying. and make sure he drinks lots of water. That's what I think. And I don't know how to make mods on StreamYard. If you can put the link without the .com, like you space it out, we'll know what it means. I had that problem trying to put a link in my super chat, and it wouldn't let me do it. Yeah, it was hot. And that was in July. Especially with, now, you said it's going to be soon, though. So he's hitting at a fairly decent part. He's going to go through the winter there. So he won't have to deal with it till next summer. So, but there's not much out there. I think he can go into Palm Springs, which seems pretty nice. And then my daughter lives about an hour from Palm Springs. And then she's like between Palm Springs and the coast, in Riverside in the valley. Yeah, they would send troops from here to there for what they call NTC for a month. They would go out there for training. I don't know why they had to do it there, but they did. Every year they had to go for a month. So it just depended on what time of year you had to go. But if he's going there soon, he should be fine. But although it's still 95 here. My daughter, who lives more towards the coast, she was telling me it wasn't too bad right now. It's 90 degrees right now in 29 Palms. Yeah, see, it's cooled off. He won't have to worry about it till next summer. Now, is he going there for training, or is he actually getting stationed there for like a good long time? Oh, he's starting school. Oh, aircraft mechanic. That's what my son did in the Navy. Yeah. My son didn't get the job he wanted either, and ended up, he wasn't really an aircraft mechanic. He got the planes ready, and then they were put on the elevator and taken up to the flight deck. I don't know, some sort of air something. Okay. Well, he might, if he's in school, if it's over by next summer, he might be good. Okay. I'll put it, I'll get it, and I'll put it in the comments after the live stream's over if anybody's interested, because I am. I want to watch it. Yeah, I finally watched, Cher. Aren't you the one that wanted me to watch that documentary? Oh, I did right after that live stream, and it was awesome. That was you, right? Okay, cool. There we go. Let me see. Cool. I do watch. Yeah, I watched it. Okay, yeah, that was you. How have I never heard of this woman? I watch a lot of stuff on aliens. I watched every episode except maybe the last season. I'm watching it now, of Ancient Aliens. And how have I never heard of this person? Hi, Gail. How are you? No, we're just chatting because I miss everybody. I haven't been protesting. But yeah, I was flabbergasted by that woman and her evidence. And have I never heard of that in all the stuff I've ever seen? I was surprised. I couldn't believe it. We've been talking about all kinds of things, like the devastation in North Carolina. Because I've been out. I've just pretty much been. I disappeared off the face of the earth for the last week and a half because I haven't watched any SBTV. I haven't been protesting because I've had teeth infection all over the place and I didn't feel good. So I've just been watching stupid TV. Um, it's what was it called again, Cher? And it's only about 45 minutes, and it's about this woman that started documenting and filming these visitations she got, capturing the light. And they would talk to her, and it wasn't aliens from outer space, it was like another dimension. And her people went and they've tested her film. They've and she was just a housewife, and she documented it for many years until the point that her kids, her adult kids, saw things. And she never wanted any money or recognition or anything. And I can't believe it. I'm very interested in that kind of stuff. And I've never heard of her. And Cher's been hitting me over the head with it for like a month or so. And I kept forgetting. And I'm glad I finally watched it. It's really good. It was on Prime Video for free. It's actually worth seeing. My hubby was on Ancient Aliens episode Mission to Mars for like 2 minutes. That's so cool. Yeah, Dorothy Izot. Yeah. And she got to where she had like 3 different cameras she'd just pick up and start filming. Mama Duck. Oh, so have I. That's why I'm doing this. I haven't been out either. I pretty much just disappeared. Been sleeping a lot because I've had an infection in my sinus, my tooth, and my gland, and it's just been knocking me out. Matter of fact, I need to take my meds real quick. Oh, because if I don't, I'll forget. Oh, I think I'm gonna have to call the dentist tomorrow and get more antibiotics because, yeah, tomorrow's my last day. MRSA infection. I want to know is why didn't they give her more current cameras? I think at the time she was doing it, she was using fairly what they had, 8mm, because it started it was a while back. It wasn't recent. Gary. Yeah, it was. I had thought about it, but I was like, meh. I just kept telling people, keep trying to keep my community page updated. Yeah, it was a good idea. I told Gary we were in post chat. He said, "Are you going live tonight?" And I said, "No, but I can." And I said he came on first. I said, hey, even if it's just us, it's like getting on the phone with your friend and having a conversation. But everybody else showed up too. So remember my live stream one Saturday night? I called it "Am I Addicted to Live Streaming?" Because I do miss it when I go a long time. I miss especially talking to you guys. Because I told you if I wasn't doing this, I'm a slug. I would do nothing. I have nothing else. Oh, is that? Oh, I thought you were just saying because you. So that's why you were out? Oh my goodness. You sound like you were way worse than I was. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, she did get with some like experts. A guy wrote a book about her that tested her, and they gave. I think they either gave her more cameras or. Uh, that's what's going on with me is, um, Anyway, it's not going away all the way. And I knew they gave me amoxicillin, and I knew I was resistant to it because they never took my tonsils out. And I actually, one time, I got so scared because they closed up my whole throat. I couldn't even spit. I went to the emergency room, and I was afraid to go to sleep because I couldn't breathe. And they still didn't take them out. So I've had so many throat infections and sinus infections. One time they put me on amoxicillin for 45 days. And after that, I said, no more amoxicillin. Well, I didn't say anything to the dentist. I was like, it's been years. Maybe I'm okay. Well, it's not working. So I'm going to call him tomorrow and ask him to call me in something better. So, well, thank you. Okay, we'll see you later, Kathy. That's nice. Thank you. Yeah, 8mm is what I had when we moved here in 93. Yeah. So what exactly is MRSA? I haven't actually heard that before. Because it might be something I need to use. You guys gave me that thing, Nailman sinus rinse. I never did get it. I'm doing a Walmart order in the morning. I'm going to see if I can add that on there for my neti pot. But yeah, that documentary was, those are the kind of people that make me, believe there's something going on, that there's things we don't know. And what they were trying to say was, we can't see certain light spectrums. And so there are things out there we can't even see. That kind of wakes me out a little, though. And I've told you guys before, yeah, I believe in aliens, but I don't want them to come contact us in my lifetime. Because there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee they're going to be benevolent. Also, Dorothy's family ridiculed her for years, so she just kept it to herself and embraced the experience till her granddaughter finally understood. Yeah, I saw that. I didn't know they ridiculed her, though. I thought she just didn't say anything. I had one doctor, Dr. Kim, because my tonsils are permanently swollen. When you look in there and they have holes in them. So I used to sing in school, and now I can't sing. He wanted to take them out, and I can't remember what happened. I don't know why we didn't do it. I can't remember. Okay, Scooter Mom, you're a busy gal. I get it. You're Scooter Mom's in a lot of chats, so definitely go take a break. I didn't know I was going to be on this long. I thought I'd just pop in, but yeah, I probably won't. My sinuses are starting to bug me. Ooh, I could feel it when I separate it. Ooh, it hurts. Wait, oh my God, that hurt. Ooh, ow. Oh, yep, definite sinus infection. Ooh, oh, thank you, Mama Duck. That's so sweet. Thank you. I have a new member. Yay. Better. It feels a little better, but we were talking the infection. I still need my root canals next week. This one's still healing. I've been able to eat normal food again. sort of. There for a while, it was mostly Jello and mashed potatoes. Don't do that. I know. I had a doctor do that to me once. He just walked up and went on my head, and it went boom, and I'm like, ow. And he's like, yep, you got a sinus infection. So that's how I checked, but I didn't. I just knew I did this time. I can tell. But yeah, if you're ever wondering if you have one, just knock yourself on the head right there. Well, I had a problem with my memberships and my monetization, and it was paused. So that might be why. It was just me getting set up with my account. It was way more involved than I thought. There was so many steps. And then I didn't even realize I didn't do the last step, which was your address verification. They have to mail you something with a code on it, and you have to put it in. So you have to verify your home address. I'm like, man, do you want my firstborn too? And now we're all thumping our foreheads. No, I didn't do it because I knew it was going to hurt. But yes, that's how that was trippy. It was a long time ago. I'd never had anybody do that before. Hang on just a second. I got to get my tissue. Why is it so far away? And right behind the candle. All right, we're going to put the candle out because if I reach for my tissues, I have to reach right over the candle flame. And I'm not going to do that. Okay, that's better. Ooh. There we go. Well, I like to pass on, anytime I can help. Oh my goodness. No, I've used it many times, but I've had them so many times I don't even need to do that anymore. But so I don't know if the tooth caused this or if the sinus infection caused this and then went here, because I don't know which came first. But yeah, me too, Mama Duck. That's why a lot of times I don't know what's going on with the bigger channels, if there's any kind of hoopla going on, because I'm not always involved in watching them. All right. Good night, Susan. Ouch. Yeah, I slept late today. I had to. Did I have a doctor's appointment today? What day of the week is this? I usually check my phone, but it's the camera. Oh, I need to check, make sure it's not dying. Oh, we're good. Because I had my primary care and my husband and I both got seen to get both times. Thursday, okay, yesterday. So Tuesday was primary care, and then Wednesday was the pain management clinic. So yeah, okay. So I slept late today. 2024. I know, right? Sometimes I don't even know what year it is. I can't believe it's almost 2025. I feel so old. So old. Ugh. I'm just like, oh, there's the hubster. We were talking about you, but I don't remember why. Your town, where you had a one traffic light town. So we were talking about how back in the day, communities came together when there was a disaster. And I'm finding out some stuff about what's going on in North Carolina. It's making me angry. So there's donations getting confiscated by the government. There was a guy with a helicopter pilot was going and saving people, and some fire chief, I believe, told him he had to stop or he'd arrest him. And I'm like, it was mostly good. They're backing me up. Thanks. Checks in the mail, Gary. So what are you up to? I told him that I put the application in where you work. So I'll at least be working a few days next. What? When is that event? I'm wondering how fast he's gonna get me my certification and all that. Oh, you're doing your patrol? Okay. And then he does a lot at night. He does a job of two people. Because he's in the office watching the cameras. He's doing the patrols. And then in the mornings, starting at a certain time, he's letting deliveries in and employees in as they're coming in the morning. I know, Gail. I'm angry. I'm gonna search some stuff out on YouTube when I get off. Oh man, my head hurts. Oh, because I did that. Oh. I'm sure he had some reason he thought he was right, but so what? I mean, dang, that's life or death here. Having a helicopter. Oh, I know. I know. There's been too much lately, though. I think that's why they're letting stuff out. There's been too much happen that large numbers of people have seen. Peru, they're like, yeah, we have sightings all the time. The government's all in on it, everything. They're all completely open about it. The Phoenix lights, just there's just too much out there that people have, very large groups of people have seen and filmed and taken pictures of. Also, the crop circles. If you don't know, they did studies on crop circles, and you can tell when it's man-made and not man-made. Man-made, the stalks are broken. The non-man-made, they were not broken. They were gently laid down, and they had some sort of radiation in them that they shouldn't have. They tested it. Technically, that sheriff can't do that. He'd have to go to the FAA. Good. I hope that guy ignored him. I do. Because, you know what that reminds me of? It gave me the same feeling of Uvalde. When they wouldn't let, there was an armed parent there, they wouldn't let go in. And they weren't going in. I still don't, I haven't heard enough after that. Why in the heck that even happened there? It just makes me angry. There was no reason for people not to go in there. So, my daughter and I were talking. She really wants to get involved in trying to get more safety things put in place in the schools. And she doesn't know how to really start that. I took her out of high school and put her in a small, tiny private / homeschool. So she's limited on some of the things that like, I don't think they went over government enough and things like that. And I said, well, I said, you need to start local. You need to find, there's probably already parent groups trying to get legislation passed to get officers in every school and metal detectors and things like that, because I totally agree with that. Um, yeah, I mean, unless he was doing something outright ridiculous, I don't understand. Oh, you'll be angry after part one. He was able to pick up an elderly lady, couldn't take her husband, was going to come back and get him. That's when the arrest threat came. I would have went anyway. He could have just landed somewhere else so that he couldn't get arrested. That's what he should have done. So did he go back? He didn't get to go back. Yeah, I would have just went anyway and just landed somewhere else where he couldn't get you. That it still doesn't make sense. If something like that happens, you do what you can. And Katrina, there was all kinds of helicopters. No, he left. Oh my god. Yeah, I definitely need to watch that. And it will make me angry. I might wait and watch it with Tom tomorrow. Because I don't like to get mad when I'm all by myself. I want somebody there with me to get mad with me. Doesn't make any sense. Like we were saying, once upon a time, everybody did what they could. Didn't care about the rules. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. I see you. One of my dogs is looking at me. It's night time. You should be in bed. I heard about all of this, but I haven't watched it yet. Yeah, I got the link to it's two parts. The Great Deluge, great book about Hurricane Katrina. Didn't you go to New Orleans for Katrina, or did you not go, Tom? I know you went to West. I can't remember. Or was it something different? Oh, yeah. Well, they're doing it again in North Carolina. Yeah. They're doing it again. And I just don't understand it. I just don't. I don't understand how they did this bull crap before and they're getting away with it again. Did they ever get it back? Yeah. Tom's on YouTube a little bit more than me sometimes. He does the shorts a lot. So he's a little bit more informed sometimes than I am. Ooh. I don't know if it was FEMA, but somebody said um that the government was confiscating the donations. Okay. Oh, I hope he stays safe and is careful if he goes. Let us know if he gets called up. I just don't understand when common sense is thrown out the window. It just makes me mad. Yeah, is FEMA even there? I would think they would be by now. I'll tell you who I would trust the most, and that's the Red Cross. I know people have heard things. Our personal experience has been really good with the Red Cross. Um, when my daughter got flown to San Francisco, so she came home. She was fussy all that night. We had issues. Took her to the doctor the next day. They admitted her, and they ended up flying her to the NICU in San Francisco, which for us was about an hour and a half drive. But I went on the plane with her. So we had to get a hotel room and all that. And we went to the Red Cross, and they gave us a loan for hotels and travel. She was up there for 8 days. And then he was in Bosnia when my mom was terminal and in hospice. And it was her last moments. And all I wanted at the time, whenever he was deployed before the internet, we were allowed a 15-minute phone call twice a week that he would wait in line for. Literally, this was our conversation. Hey, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. I love you, bye. Because I was telling him all the stuff that happened with kids. So all I was asking for when I called the Red Cross is I just wanted an hour phone call. I wanted more than 15 minutes. Next thing I know, the Red Cross had put him on a plane. And he made it. My mom passed away like hours after he got there. Like he got there that night and the next morning. So she waited till he got there, and so that was very helpful to me. So at least my interactions with them have been positive. Uh, Y'all Squad, is that the link you gave us, or is that something different? Because I'll check it out. Yes, they are there, FEMA, since before the storm. Okay. No joke. No, they can't. It's just upsetting. Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to go too. We've been on here almost an hour and 58 minutes. So that's Ryan Hall's channel, Relief Effort for Weather Related to that. Well, that's a good channel I'd like to know about. I'm going to write that down so I don't forget. Yeah, I haven't had interactions with the Red Cross in disasters. It's been other things. So, Ryan Hall, y'all, what'd you call it? Y'all Squad. I'll check it out. I don't want to go searching and find 1,000 different things. But yeah, I have heard that too. But they at least helped us when we needed it. Oh, thank you. Good night, Gail. Bye, Mr. Fraud. Bye, Gary. Thanks for the suggestion. Thank you. I'll be back on my Saturday night stream and Sunday Dianetics, but I was going to try to make it out tomorrow night, but I don't think I'm going to make it. So if I protest, it probably won't be till next week. Hey, Honeybee. If you're going to donate to anybody for the hurricane relief, donate to the Cajun Navy. Yeah, that's what we're finding out, that the government's been taking donations. So thanks for dropping in, y'all, and I'll see you in the chats, and hopefully see you Saturday night or Sunday. Have a good rest of your week.